Another backtesting episode. So as you can see, we've got the charts up. So let's continue. Going to have a look at just very quickly. Obviously, we saw how price traded into the imbalance, and we can see how all members had purged. Hold on. Yeah, had purged this old high daily. In fact, YM purged it quite some far away. Just bear with me. Sorry about that. I thought I was being called. So yeah, for me, it didn't warrant any trade idea, and also the market was. If we look on the hourly, we can see a decoupling of the assets. Look at ES, look at NQ, look at YM. So real low probability conditions here. So what we're going to do first and foremost, clear up the chart. Let's clear all the sort of key levels we don't need for now, and then we'll reevaluate exactly. We'll reevaluate what's what when we get there. So we don't need the previous day's high. Can go. Get rid of that as well. All this can go for now. Okay. Then we're going to go out to the daily. I'm going to get rid of that daily key price level and get rid of this one as well. Very much looking like YM wants to trade up to that high. NQ doesn't. Go up to there, and to be fair, ES is sort of lagging behind as well. But right, so we've cleared that. We're just going to go back to the daily, sorry, the hourly. We're going to fast forward time. Obviously, we can see what time it is, midday. Go to next session. So we probably saw some form of. Let's have a look. That H4 balance there. Price traded through. So this BISI down, this BISI here, the higher BISI of the H4 is clearly supporting price higher. Drop down to the M15. We did have SMT. Yeah, probably wouldn't be for me anyway. But let's just get rid of the stuff on the M15 whilst we're here. Okay, I'm going to go back to the hourly, and I'm just going to move this on one more. And one more. Okay, so now we can go to the daily. Okay, going to remove that for now. Balance here. but not aligned on NQ. YM's purged key level. So I only look at well, one of the reasons that I'll look at an imbalance if it's not on another correlated asset is if that other asset is purging an old high or low whilst one asset is inside its imbalance, then I will look closely at the imbalance. So I'm just cleaning up the charts a little bit. Okay. Okay, yeah, that's enough for the daily time frame. There's much more to look at there. Right, so I just want to get rid of some of these bits. Not that one. So we're going to look at our key swing points. So we want there. And what we want here is a old low H4, aligned H4. Okay. But its previous day's low is actually in this area here. And yeah. Okay. And we want to get rid of that. We can also get rid of that high. Okay. So now I just want to look at the highs and see that one there. Quite clearly that one. And okay, I'm gonna get rid of this like that. Oh, let's just go to the daily and previous daily high. got some key levels now. We obviously saw support at that BISI there. So and we've got that high time frame crack and correlation there as well. Which essentially is formed in relation to that BISI. Okay. Potential SMT at the highs. We need to see confirmation. Okay, so let's begin some analysis. I'm going to start with IOF. So we're going to drop to the, I'm going to pop to the daily. So we can see that relative to the weekly, so if we jump out to the weekly time frame, it's found support. I'm not willing to confirm it being bullish yet. I must confess. If we trade through that weekly BPR, then that would change my my view. But relative to the weekly time frame, IOF, in my opinion, remains bearish. However, if price trades to and through the BPR, this would set the stage for higher prices. The daily time frame has indicated bullishness following the high time frame crack and correlation at the lows within the BC weekly, supporting the idea of higher prices. I have noted old lows being manipulated whilst old highs being displaced through. Okay, so no need to go down to the 4-hour time frame. It's not necessary. We can operate in this, guys. Okay, now it is true to note that NQ is not looking massively bullish, but for the time being and the purpose of this, we'll continue to monitor. We'll continue to monitor. So ERL, IRL confluences. So I want to see the CB there. Sorry, the BISI. So why is that important? Because that's indicating that this could well be a breakaway gap. I have noted the daily gap, which could likely be a breakaway gap, as there has been an H4 imbalance within the third candle. Okay, so the market traded down. Actually, let's just see if we've got any notation on this. So the market traded down its internal range liquidity in the form of the BC weekly, where I noted, yeah. Therefore, my immediate attention turns to the all high daily as. Yeah, so that's still plausible, so we're going to take that. Now, admittedly, I was referring to, once we saw this cracking correlation here, this high. Now we've traded to and through this high. I'm assuming the next draw is that high. Okay, so that's still relevant. So I'm going to drop down to SPs. And we're going to drop down to the 4-hour time frame as usual. Okay, so I have noted the clean and clear swing points above and below current price, referencing the previous day's high and the previous day's low. These KPLs have formed above the true week open, therefore forming potential low probability oh god, what can't I spell? Low probability conditions traded to within high time frame cracking correlation present at the highs or low. Okay. So I'm alluding to the fact that these lows here, because they're above the true week open, they're not high probability unless coupled with an imbalance. So I wouldn't if we're bullish, I wouldn't want to see price come here. I'd be looking at a 4-hour imbalance forming and then price wanting to trade into that, and then off we go. I wouldn't want to see price come all the way back down to this liquidity pool here to want to trade higher. Could be wrong, but I wouldn't. So we will just note that for now. So TO, currently all members are above their respective true week open, supporting the idea of potential high probability shorts. And yeah, that's that. So cracking correlation. See where we're at. So I have noted the high time frame SMT, which formed at the lows within the BISI H4, confirming a trade idea and also supporting higher prices. Let's just have a quick think of that one. Bear with me a second. Okay. So I'm just thinking about this cracking correlation. Just bear with me a second. Yeah, so noting that high time frame SMT, which formed at the lows within the BISI H4, confirming the trade idea and supporting higher prices. So this could support models seeking higher prices, pending any high time frame cracking correlation at the highs at H4 inflection level. Now we've kind of got that currently. If we look at this here, we've kind of got it with NQ and ES, so we need to monitor that. So we're going to go down to game plans. And see what we what we think. So, I mean, very quickly, obviously, you know, we have that in there. Okay, so no, that's not correct. Okay. And you can see how the market has appeared to find a level of support from there. Okay, so now I want to note yeah, we just do that to there, that's fine. So this is our London high. And before I do that, I just want to go to the H4 just to make sure that no, that's fine, that's fine. Okay, fine. Yeah, we're dealing with hourly imbalances, which is fine. So I'm going to grab that. Okay. And okay. What time was that high? 5, 6. So yeah, technically speaking, that is a London high. It's just been purged. But admittedly, I'm not massively monitoring YM as such. I am, but I'm keeping a cautious eye just with YM for now. My main focus is on ES and NQ. And the relationship that exists between those two markets. And what am I doing? What am I doing? Get rid of that. There we go. Okay. And I think that's all that's applicable right now that I'm really focused on. So now we can start looking at potential game plans. So we can see how the market has traded down into this BISI, and all of them have traded into the BISI. So I'm not looking at a cracking correlation there at all, if I'm honest. And in terms of higher prices, well, one, hold on, okay. Okay, so with price being above the true week open and the H4 order flow supporting higher prices, fair value gap narrative, or context. If the market trades down into the BC H1 and forms low time frame SMT, this could support the idea of higher prices. Okay, so basically I want to see, does this candle make a swing low? If it makes a swing low, or this candle here, whichever, do we get SMT form and then the market to continue higher? That's what I'm looking at. Okay, so that's an idea. Now if I venture out to the 4 hour, I'm not really looking at, you know, if we've got this 4 hour here, let's just go back to the hourly. We've got this, you know, where the SMT formed. We've got this this order block there. Okay, where we'd anticipate the market to reject from. So if we take that and we go and plot said candle on ES, we'd have that. So you can see that the market traded down into the order block. Traded down into the order block. It's traded higher. Left this imbalance. So in theory, the imbalance, if we're likely to see higher prices, should. The reality is the market shouldn't purge this low. If we shouldn't violate the BISI if we're likely to see higher prices. Yes, we do have this BPR. I mean, this is a H1 BPR here, but this is a H4 BPR. That's interesting as well. So we've potentially got SMT potentially at the previous day's high. So but order flow is looking extremely bullish. But it's also important to note this. So model 2 with price being above the true week open, if we note high time frame SMT above the previous daily high, this could set the stage for lower prices. So with this cracking correlation here, now again, I'm looking at this and thinking we've got relative equal highs, and I'm favouring more higher time frame prices, but it is important to note the fact that we do have potential high time frame cracking correlation. Although like I said, I don't think this cracking correlation is going to be of significance, but I could be wrong, you know. But I just think that the high time frame narrative is supporting higher prices, and that's where we're going to go. So let's just have a look at the M50 in a second. What's the low here? 84.25, 84.25, okay. That could be a reason why the market would want to come down there before it sort of ventures higher. So I've got two game plans there. Potentially potentially a third would be with price being above the true week open, if the market trades down into the BC H4 and forms low time frame SMT within the high probability bullish order block H1, this could set the stage for higher prices. So I'm looking at this level here. I want to see a rejection. So trade into this order block, see a rejection, SMT here, and then potentially higher prices. That's also plausible. Now, I just want to know if we've got any propulsion blocks, which technically we have. These two down close candles here. Wouldn't want to see them be violated. But if you notice, yeah, wouldn't necessarily want to see them be violated. And to be fair, I'm not favouring the third model, because look at where this BISI, so this is the overlapping BISI here, and look at where we are in close proximity. But you know, it would be inside the high probability order box. So it's an interesting one, but we're going to keep it on there. It's not by any means my favourite model that I'd be looking for. I'm just going to double check that we haven't got any other situational scenarios that could be at play. Previous days. Well, that would be a. Let's have a look. The aligned is there. I can't really see this one happening, but it would be if price traded down to the previous day's low. So with price being above the true week open, if price traded down and purged the previous day's low, forming high time frame cracking correlation at the lows between ES and NQ, with ES trading down into its BCH4 but failing to purge its aligned low. Okay, so I'm essentially saying this low here, if ES fails to purge this low, but NQ trades down and purges the previous day's low, ES trades into this imbalance here, that could set the catalyst for high prices. Again, it's not one of my preferred models that I'd be looking for today. It'd certainly be 1 and 2, but it is something certainly worth noting. Okay, so we've now identified some game plans. Let's drop down to the M15. Let's we've got no news today. Well, we've got news at 1 PM, so we will mark that out, although likelihood is would have already have been out of the market by that time. And then we've obviously got our known. Oh dear. Oh, we got that old chestnut again. sure why it does it, but oh well. Okay. So what we're going to do is now. That is an interesting scenario. If we get a cracking correlation at the London high, we'll have to monitor that, I think. Okay, so let's play on through. We're going to play on to about 8:15. See what happens. Okay, so all of them now have purged London. Okay, so that is supporting the idea of higher prices. So we're going to get to about 8:15. I'm just going to... Yeah, we're going to have the hourly candle print. So we're going to mark this low. I'm going to mark that low. And we're going to mark this low. Now again, I'm not anticipating the market to come back there, but should still monitor. So we're at 8 o'clock. Hourly candle is printed, which is good. Okay, so now we're at 8:30. Market symmetry. Want to see if there's any highs that we need printing. No, not yet. We're not aware of that. So we're going to keep rocking with this. Okay, so we're going to stop there. Drop down to the 1 minute now. And we're going to see what equities open. So as you can see, symmetrical price action here. If we just venture out to ES, daily. Maybe that's a weekly then. Okay, so ES is inside of the weekly BPR. 260, 268. Okay. So yeah, right now I would still be leaning towards bullish price action. There's nothing for me to actually. It's not entirely true because of that. Okay, so small SMT there, but would want to see. We're going to go to equities open. Let's just enlarge this. We want to see displacement. Until we see displacement, I don't think there's really much to do. So we're approaching equities open now. Okay. So the market is displaced higher, not offering us an opportunity based on the things that we've been looking for. So we're going to continue with that. Yeah, and it certainly looks as though that previous day's high for NQ is in the crosshairs now. I'd be surprised if we saw some form of rejection now. We're seeing rejection on ES. Remember, ES traded to the weekly balanced price range. Okay. We still got this Kraken correlation forming. No M5 displacement. Just going to stay on the M5 for a second. Displacement needs to be seen on both assets. So as you can see, high here, 99, low, 98.75. So balanced. So despite the fact that NQ is displacing lower, this is not a trade idea for me yet. Okay, now there is a BPR, it's not BPR, inversion fair value gap potentially, which we want to mark up here. Which we will mark up. Okay, so why I'm still looking bullish, everything to me still looking rather bullish, nothing to say otherwise yet. Okay. Interesting. Possible imbalance in there. M15. Okay, so just going to go through. Okay. Only seeing the imbalance down here on ES, so not yet. Apologies, my machine's just having a moment. Okay, so if we just go out to the hourly, we obviously purged London high. Let's just move that out like so. So we purged the London. Okay. So we've got the H1 liquidity pool. And you know, and in theory we can see, I mean, we've got this long order block here. The extreme would be obviously up here. Okay, so we have that. We're above the true week open as well, bear that in mind. So potential, we certainly got an M15 order block in here, which is what we've noted there. with a tiny BPR as well in there. There is a really slim BPR and likelihood that this will be a BPR on NQ. Okay. Right, so now just going to jump out to the H4. So our H4 inflection point is most likely, well, I'm going to mark up this imbalance. Now the imbalance doesn't exist on NQ. However, this could be one of those imbalances where NQ hits purges liquidity whilst ES reprices and rebalances an imbalance. Okay, so we've got to be mindful of that. So, and then that's well, it's this one there. Okay. So I'd mark that up like so. And I would mark this up as well, just in case. Okay, so that would be where we're at, where we are there. Just bear with me a second, please. And we're back. Right, back gate was open. Okay. So, as I said, we want to look at, roughly speaking, if we were to engage in this trade here, where would 2R be? There. So, if the market eclipses that level, then it's unlikely to be a trade idea. Sorry, just bear me a second. What is overlapping here? Okay, fine. There we go. Okay. So, obviously, as I said, we've got the likely BPR and NQ. So, we want to see this M15 candle close, in all honesty. So, we can press play to that. Now, we've got a fair bit. I wouldn't be looking to engage in anything right now, especially on ES. We want to see how the candle closes. Okay, so as you can see with sorry, excuse me, with ES, I wanted to see if this BPR confirms. Now the BPR has confirmed, and I'm going to mark it up. I'm just going to do this for now. We're going to convert this into a BPR, and then we're going to do that. Okay, so this BPR and this BPR, in essence, should hold price. So I want to. Because we didn't. Yes, we confirmed the order block. However, we've got no M5 imbalance at all. So we've got no M5 imbalance. So this is where I'm going to start looking now. I want to monitor this on ES and NQ. Yes, we've got M5 imbalances here on NQ. However, if we venture out to the hourly, we can see that we're rejecting from this BISI. And what else have we got? No, not that. Oh. Okay, so now if we go to the M5, so what we've got up here, which we can just mark up. So we are sort of in between now two models. Okay, so that would be potentially the F. Oh, crikey. Okay, and I'm going to mark that up here as well. That would potentially be that, which I want to mark up because I want to see if the market has appetite to trade this high, right? So we have scope to the upside, and if the market obviously trades above and closes above this BPR, the M15 BPR, then that's going to support any ideas. And also, if we get M5 imbalance in the opposing direction, well, that's going to be of interest too. So we're going to click through. Let's see what happens. Do we get a rejection from the BPR, or do we violate the BPR and get an imbalance supporting higher prices? That's what we need to confirm. So I would argue yeah. Let's put that on the M5. And we have a relatively small one on, let's just move that there. Okay, and we have the order block, but like I said, we're sort of in between two imbalances, so I don't want to be too keen right now, even though as I just want to pop out to the M15 because obviously we've seen this. This is the purge of the H1 liquidity pool. We've obviously got a purge of the M15 there, which is important to some extent. Okay. Okay. So, and then obviously this high would be in the crosshairs, right? So I still want to see what does price want to do, right? Because we're in a BPR here. So if we invalidate the, look at that supporting. If we invalidate the BISI M5, then that to me would support the idea of lower prices if coupled with an M5 displacement. So let's see. Okay. So we could assume here it respected the BPR. So the question is, sorry, let me just drop down to the M5. We could engage here. We could engage here. We could engage on this candle here, but it just means that our stop loss is, well, you know what, we're gonna let's see what happens with price. I'm gonna monitor this. If it doesn't give us our primary entry, it doesn't give us our primary entry. Okay, so market's certainly indicating lower prices now. I'd be convinced that we are now trading lower. We had everything confirmed. We wanted to see confirmation of the BPR. So once this candle had rejected the BPR, not this one, but this candle had rejected, possible entry off that candle, but I want to get the optimal entry at the at the order block, high probability order block. So I think we're going to go through and deliver that 2R, which it has almost done. There's no M15 imbalance here, so I can only see price wanting to trade lower. There'll be no reason for it to come all the way up here. Price is balanced all the way here. Potential, imbalance conforming here to seek lower prices, but ultimately one of them is going to purge this old low, and then the market is going to then decide upon where it wants to go. That's what I would envisage, but we'll see. Let's look at, and there you go. So we've purged the 2R, so that would be trade off on my books. So let's see what happens. I would expect to see one of them purge that inflection point. Could be wrong, but I'd expect it. And probably more so NQ, although it's looking more ES-y, but we'll see. Trade up into its imbalance. There you go. So there you go. So unfortunately, not able to capitalize. So why couldn't we get involved? Well, number one, I wanted to see an M5 imbalance. We got the M5 imbalance eventually here. But also but more importantly, I wanted to see, did we reject the BPR, which we did. We rejected the BPR. We wanted to engage on the M15, on the M5. Therefore, I wanted to see a retest. Now, as I said, we could have potentially have engaged off this candle here, but looking at this candle, you could have potentially have had that high, but you'd probably have kept the same high. So it just didn't present an opportunity for me to engage the market. It's as simple as that. Had we gone back up to retest that key price level, I'd have been in. Order block that level, I would have been in, which would have probably have overlapped with NQ, just trading up into this order block here. Didn't happen. We'll close that. Didn't happen. So so the market then continued lower, where the 2R was hit. So that's trade over for us. But ultimately, we wanted to see the old low inflection point being hit. That was then hit by both asset members. So that's trade idea off. And now we could see higher prices if needs be. If one of them trades down to the previous day's low, then yeah, certainly we could see higher prices for the PM session. But I'm just going to play this on then until lunchtime. I'd expect the market to continue to reprice lower because we have got market symmetry at this point between ES and NQ, so it would make absolute sense for one of them to trade down to the previous day's low, and it looks more likely that one will be NQ. But we're going to trade up to the lunch hour, which we are almost there now, and as we can see, there we go. And NQ has purged its previous day's low, whilst ES has not quite got there, but yeah, we saw the symmetry above the London high. That was good liquidity sweep. We wanted to see displacement lower. We saw that with the M5 leaving the BPR. So we confirmed the order block here. We confirmed the BPR here. I wanted to see the rejection from the BPR, which we saw. In hindsight, we looked at this 2R here. Could we have just entered off the bottom of that? Possibly. Not the kind of entry that I would like to engage in, if I'm honest. Market would have still delivered the 2R that we set out for. So, you know, one of them whereby would it have been classified as chasing the market? Possibly. If we go out to the hourly, was there an hourly order block entry? Which, let's have a look. Which we probably had missed if there was. Although I don't think the market traded back up into that. So that's the hourly order block. Yeah, and the market didn't trade back up into the hourly order block. So again, wouldn't have offered a trade idea. So unfortunately, that's just one that got away. We formulated the idea well. We looked for the specifics of what we wanted to see well. Unfortunately, the market didn't trade back up to give us an entry, which was a shame. Yeah, which was a shame. Because we were sort of between two potential imbalances. The market ultimately confirmed what we wanted to see, but we were unable to execute and get involved with that trade idea, and ultimately the market continued lower. We could have potentially of taken the trade on a breakout candle, but that's not really the kind of thing that I want to do. Although the market would have still presented a 2R trade, so something to consider. Ultimately, I don't like chasing the market. I don't always want to chase the market once the market has sort of gone, but potentially it could have been a trade idea. So hopefully you took something away from this episode. It was a slightly longer one, but I think there was a lot of good stuff in there in terms of how we set about identifying what we could see. Just for reference, it was Model 2, or should I say Game Plan 2, which formed and ultimately went to ultimately delivered a potential trade. So unfortunate there. Again, one of those where we could have looked at it and said to ourselves, okay, if we had got in on this candle, I think it was there, if we'd got in just a market open, here was sort of 1.5. Would 1.5 do? I guess it would have done. I guess it would have done. So potentially something to look at there. Not too perturbed in terms of not getting in, but maybe something that we could have looked in there because we had the confirmation at the high, so it was just a case of just trying to get in. So maybe that could have presented the opportunity to have got in, and maybe that was something we could have done, but didn't want to chase the market. But that's sort of hindsight. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you wouldn't mind hitting a thumbs up if you've got this far, and if not, if you'd be kind enough, maybe subscribe to the channel if you like the content. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you.